More local news tonight and developments in Justin King's death. In the fall, the Filipino black man was shot and killed by his white neighbor in Bourbon. That's an hour southwest of St. Louis. And there's been a lot of questions about if race played into his death and the lack of charges.
Yeah, now tonight there are now calls for the Crawford County coroner who examined evidence in the death to go. That probe was presented to a jury which determined the killings to be justified. King's family now points to social media posts by the coroner, which they say proves he was unfit for the case. Here's News 4's Dion Broxton.
That decision was made almost a month ago. The King family still criticizes the whole ordeal. The sheriff selected the jury, the coroner didn't allow any recording devices inside the courtroom, and officials admitted that all evidence wasn't shown. Now the King family is pointing to the coroner's Facebook page.
You know, I want the killer of my son to stand trial.
John King is Justin King's father. In seeking justice, he's now focusing on the Crawford County coroner, Darren Dake.
It was his job to show us pictures of my son's body. He didn't do that.
In a letter to Missouri's Department of Health and Missouri's Coroners and Medical Examiners Association, lawyers for the King family call into question several actions by Dake.
Stripped away our cell phones, our smartwatches, anything that could record.
The coroner banned all recording devices in the room during a presentation of findings to a jury in January. That included News 4's cameras. State law says a public body shall allow for audio and/or video recording during an open meeting. Before the coroner's presentation, Crawford County Prosecutor David Smith sent News 4 an email stating the presentation was a public meeting, but cited graphic evidence as the reasoning for restricting recording devices. We went through Missouri statutes online and found no such exception.
Nobody wants to rely on anyone's particular handwritten notes necessarily for an official transcript.
Lawyer Nimrod Chappell says Crawford County officials told him no written, audio, or video transcription of the meeting exists. Missouri state law says a record of open and closed meetings must be retained by a government body. In a Facebook post Thursday, Darren Dake wrote, quote, "My office was not involved in the overall investigation of the shooting, nor was I involved in any conversation with the sheriff and/or prosecuting attorney."
The idea that he should somehow get to pass the buck, right, on to other elected officials there in Crawford County, whether it's the sheriff or the prosecutor, I think is just flat wrong.
The family's letter to the state also cites items from Dake's Facebook. The family says Dake shows bias by sharing posts like these. Here he compares Nazis with Black Lives Matter.
The entire inquest needs to be thrown out. We need a special investigator, a special prosecutor.
Dake also wrote Black Lives Matter, or BLM, is a hate group.
For him to say that Black Lives Matter is a racist group just goes to show me that this man is not capable of handling being unbiased.
Lawyers with the King family say they received some of the evidence not shown in court, but is heavily redacted. Now, the family is still waiting to hear back from the state about those complaints. I did reach out to coroner Darren Dake, but didn't hear back in time for this story. Dion Broxton, News 4.